Well, mm, well, I might be a little nervous doing this, but I'm currently talking to someone who took the initiative to do a fan sequel to You Don't Know Jack the Ride. I'm here with ThePaSch, or however you pronounce that, or actually, what do you want
Yes,
me to
yes.
refer to you as?
That's okay. Pash or the Pash or just Pash is okay.
Yeah. And the B-roll for our video will be the mm, mm, actual project you've done, the You Don't Know Jack ReRide.
Yeah.
Before we talk about that, let's talk about your past history as a fan of the You Don't Know Jack franchise. What was your first game when you first started playing them?
Um I live in Germany. I was born in Germany. So I was part of the wave of fans that ended up playing the original one of the original four Jack German volumes because for some reason, not sure if I can explain it or if I have any idea why, Jack kind of got really big in Germany specifically. Um, and I think my first Jack game was Volume 2, the German one, which was a translation of Volume 3, the original one,
I
and that's how
see.
I kind of got into how I got into the series.
I've known about You Don't Know Jack for a long time, but when it was around in the CD-ROM days, I was a little young to be buying them.
Mm.
And then I first started playing the Facebook game of all games.
Oh yeah, that one was I think like sometime 2011 2012.
Yeah, and then the party packs and the Steam releases of the classics, including
Mm.
the ride.
Yeah.
Sooner or later, I'm gonna do a thing where I do all the floors of the ride,
Hmm.
and maybe the re-ride.
Well, it's very much available. You wouldn't be the first. There are some creators who are uploading gameplay of every episode of the ReRide, and that is obviously something that I'm very happy about because the best thing that a creator can do, or the best thing for a creator, is to see people enjoy their work. So I'm very glad
Right.
for anyone who streams or records their gameplay of the game.
And I did record this footage with my OBS, not recording the audio for the sake of the interview, so the audience would have something to look at.
Hmm.
But they can tell just how much like the original Volume 4 what it looks like.
Yeah.
Without getting all technical and all that, how did you do all this?
Um. So it started with me like rediscovering, replaying the ride because it was always my favorite Jack game by far. Um, and I think that there are a lot of people who think like me, who would agree with me. And I was learning Blender 3D modeling at the time. So really, just for fun, I made like a 3D model or a 3D scene of like inside the elevator from the intro sequence of the ride, and um, that turned out pretty okay. And at the same time, I was learning a new JavaScript framework called Svelte, which was fairly new at the time. This was 2021, 2022. And so couple of things combined with me wanting to like learn new technologies, new tools, new skills, um, to where I decided to, well, I'm gonna use Blender to make all of the art, and then Svelte to do some code and see if I can make like my own little You Don't Know Jack game. And originally it was supposed to be its own thing, but like leaning very heavily on the ride's aesthetic. It was supposed to be a more modern thing, supporting like phones as controllers, the kinds of things that we expect from Jackbox games these days.
Yeah,
But eventually, it kind of turned into what it is now, which is just a straight up faithful remake. And all of the graphics were handmade by me. Um, all of the code was written handmade by me. I'm very fortunate to be working together with some very talented writers who work on the writing with me. One of them is Sam Feely, who is a You Don't Know Jack super fan, much like myself. And one of them is Danny Gallagher, who is a comedy writer, very talented, who has actually worked on some actual Jackbox games in the past. I think one of them was like the original Trivia Murder Party, um, and some of the original Quiplash. I think Quiplash 2, something along those lines.
yeah.
A freelance writer.
When I was playing the game, I've noticed that instead of bingo, as you can probably tell in the footage here, we have a different 5-letter word every time the bingo game pops up.
Yes.
I don't know how
Yeah, I mean
to ask this,
that's
but was that a conscious choice?
it was what?
Was that a choice you made, or is that something I missed because of me not playing
I don't
much of the
understand the question.
original?
I didn't quite
You,
understand the question.
never mind. I don't understand it myself.
Okay.
But so far, out of the floors that are out there for the rerun, which one do you think was your favorite one that's you've done?
That would probably be, well, it would be either the unexpected episode or the haunted places episode. Both of them are ones where it's not just about the trivia. Well, the unexpected episode more so. It's still pretty trivia heavy. I mean, they're both pretty trivia heavy, but there's also something that happens like beyond just trivia, like a more of a storyline kinds of episodes, and those are always fun to write for, always fun to act for. Um,
Funnily
so
enough, I
those two
think
would
I
probably be
finished
it.
the B-roll with the unexpected episode.
Yeah,
You got me with that
perfect.
question 11.
Yeah, the one that asks what the Conjuro was.
No, just the fact that it wasn't a jack attack.
Oh, right. Right, the encore question. I forgot about that myself. Yeah, the unexpected episode kind of taps into what really turns Classic Jack into Classic Jack for me personally, and that is the fact that Classic Jack kept throwing curveballs at you. Like you never really knew what to expect from it. Um, and that's kind of what inspired the creation of that episode.
Yeah, I remember one question in one of the classics themed ones. I think it was TV where they
Hmm.
pulled the it was all a dream plot twist and it got all weird and it shut the game down.
Oh, I didn't even know. I don't even know about that one. But that very much sounds like something that a classic question would do. Like sometimes in the classics, it would just kind of make the question disappear after it was asked, especially if it was about counting letters or remembering things that were written down.
Right.
Or sometimes it would. I think there was one an impossible question in Volume 3 that asks you about what a Pyrrhic victory is, that being a victory where you just lost a bunch, like lost too much for it to count as a victory, like in a war. Maybe you lost all your troops or whatever. And if you get that question right, then Cookie says, "Well, you got the question right, but unfortunately, it's a Pyrrhic victory, and you still lose your money."
Yeah. How did how does Cookie stay sane Or has he lost his marbles a long time ago?
I don't know. I can't really say say anything in that regard. I think anyone who has played full stream will know. Well, most people who've played full stream will know about the secrets and special episodes that it has, and I think that's the last time we saw. Well, I guess we saw him in ThePaSch 4, but I
Yeah.
gotta admit I haven't really played much of that.
By the way, where did you get the rubber chicken for the roadkill thing?
Oh, I think that's just like a stock image that I pulled from somewhere. I can't really remember where I pulled it from. I made sure, like, I make sure that every asset that I put in the game is CC0, so Creative Commons zero, so part of the public domain because I don't
Right.
like very careful not to step on anyone's toes but Jackboxes, so to speak. Um,
Yeah.
so the only content that I don't own or I don't have the rights for should be Jackbox Games content because then they're the only ones who can shut me down.
Right.
And I don't want to get into any other trouble as far as that goes.
Like any
Remember,
other assets.
yeah, yeah, everything that's in the rewrite is a fully public domain or free to use for non-commercial projects, including the fonts. Like even the fonts, I made sure uh, that I have the rights to use them.
Going back to the unexpected episode,
Yes.
was the free money question really one where all four would be counted as correct?
Yes. You can go back and play that episode 4 times and pick every answer once, and you will always receive money.
Okay, just wanting to make sure.
Yeah.
Besides this fan game, mm, what do you do for a living, by the way?
Um, Software development, as maybe unsurprising. Um, Mostly JavaScript, full stack, Ruby in the back end, .NET in the back end, just enterprise software development as a freelancer.
Gotcha. And the when you were saying that the ReRide started as you wanting to test out new tools that you've learned how to use,
Hmm.
that's me as well when it comes to some things.
Yeah, I've always maintained that the best way to learn how to do something is to go ahead and do it. And there's a lot of resources out there in the internet that allow you to get a quick handle on things, that give you a quick start, and you go off of that and then build upon what you've learned. Because that's the thing, tutorials are great if you just want to get a foothold and knowing how to use something in general, the most basic terms. But if you always follow tutorials, then you aren't gonna be able to do anything that there is no tutorial for. So eventually, you gotta do your own projects, and then you can
Right.
learn how to use this tool
Sometimes just going out
more
there and doing
versatility.
stuff on your own is the best way to learn something.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not going to ask about future floors because I know you want to maintain a surprise for the fans out there. But
Hmm.
do you think you'd be working on any other games in the future?
As far as like fan recreations go, I think I've had my fill with the rewrite.
Okay,
It is very rewarding to be able to put out episodes every week now. Like most of the work is behind us,
right.
and now it's just writing and recording, which happen to be the most fun parts as well. But the rewrite took me about 2.5 years as the only person who worked on the project before I got any writers in, and I don't think I'm gonna want to go through that again. If anything, I would want to make like my own game that I would then fully own and be able to like sell and stuff. But
I don't blame you,
um,
to be honest. And
yeah,
is it okay if I mention something that we talked about in DMs
well,
about a about the fact that we're gonna have a second season?
oh yes, absolutely. No, that has been announced in the rewrite server already. Probably going to be making a trailer about that fairly soon. But yeah, it's definitely something they were excited about. It was always the plan to release 30 episodes from the get go, no matter how uh, many people play them. And it turns out a lot more people played the game and enjoy the game on a weekly basis than any of us thought. And so we are more than happy to keep making them as long as people keep playing them.
And yes, I am the one breaking the news here that you are in fact doing a season two.
Well, I mean, again, we've already
I meant
there's been an announcement on the server.
outside of the ReRide Discord server.
Yeah, that's true. That is
And
true.
I know that the people there already know, but for those not in there, this will probably be the first time they've heard it.
Yeah, quite possibly. Quite
Can't
possibly.
wait to see what shenanigans the crew gets up to now.
Yeah, we definitely have a bunch of surprises in store for sure. Because that's really what classic Jack, what the spirit of classic Jack is all about. Just keep him guessing and never be predictable.
Now, as to the floors themselves, how do you decide which topics you use for each floor and which topics don't cut the mustard, as it were?
Um, so it's the initial 20 or so episodes were basically me just thinking about what is some unusual stuff that it might be fun to write a bunch of questions about. Because the beauty of all of the themes in the ride and also like Fifth Dementia and all the other Jack games have like themed floors was that they are themes that you don't really see you wouldn't really expect to see in any other trivia games. But there are also just interesting and fun to write questions around. So initially, when it was just me working on the game, I wrote out a list of 20 episodes and just came up with stuff, um, whatever came to mind. Now that we are a team of three writers, we have a big brainstorm page in our question document, and anytime any of us has an idea about what might be a cool theme to make a floor around, we go there and write it into the document. And then when it's time to make a new floor, especially now that season two is around the corner, we go through that list and think, okay, what might be cool to do, what might be topical, what might be in the news right now that we could write an episode about, and that's how that gets decided upon.
And I did see a video on the Game Zones floor. You just had to call out the real live game, so if you don't know Jack.
Yeah,
I mean, it was inevitable.
yeah, you can't really do a game show's floor without talking about the game show version of the game.
What do you think would have done it better?
I don't
The
know.
show, that is.
I am part of the group of people who think the show is honestly underrated. Like I think it's genuinely funny, and I think it gets more flack than it deserves in a certain way. I think it should have been made clearer whether anything that happens and that we see witness is like actually real, how much of it is scripted. Like there's certain parts where you know for a fact that it's scripted, there's certain parts where you know for a fact that it's real, but it's kind of hard to like keep them apart sometimes.
Case in
um
point, the $2 million question.
yeah, like I mean obviously the skits from the $2 million question that Troy Stevens goes through are all scripted and choreographed, but sometimes the dialogue that the host has with the contestants seems a little too perfect, so to speak, and so it's never really clear like how much of the contestants' dialogue is scripted. Like I know it's a real game show, like people were actually playing for money there, and the contestants themselves were real, but sometimes it was kind of hard to keep apart what's real and what isn't.
Yeah. Plus, it felt like maybe it wasn't made for prime time.
That's true, yeah.
And
I would
Stu
have to agree
hoarding
with that.
Regis in the Millionaire set probably didn't help.
Yeah. No. It I think it had the problem of not really seeming like a proper primetime game show, but also not really being like I couldn't see it fit a syndicated daily format particularly well either, because eventually they just run out of material.
Instead of, I don't know if I'm gonna catch heck for this, but maybe it should have been put on Comedy Central or something.
I don't think that's a bad idea at all. I think uh I think that might have been worth a shot actually. Like,
I
well, I
mean,
think it was
look
on
at
like
Win Ben
ABC.
Stein's money.
Yeah. I think it was on ABC or something, and
It
yeah, that
was.
that way, yeah, that's probably not the place for it to be. Um, like it's I don't know if they wanna if they are willing to have another go at this, then I think a place like Comedy Central would probably be better.
Yeah. And maybe make it a little more obvious when the dialogue is part of a skit
Yeah,
or a joke. At least they got the Jack Attack mostly accurate.
yeah, that's true. That kind of survived pretty much unscathed. I thought the questions in the live action show were pretty good. Um, I'm not sure how much like live action comedy a Jack show needs. Like all you could just get a charismatic host and then just ask wacky questions and maybe invite celebrities or something, because that apparently needs to be a thing. Um, Apparently people tend to watch something more if there's celebrities in it.
Just look at modern day Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Yeah. Do they even do like normal contestant episodes anymore? I haven't watched
No.
in a long time. Yeah.
In fact, it wasn't that. In fact, for the longest time in the fandom, we've been complaining that that's the reason the original version of Regis got put off air,
Yeah.
among other shows.
Yeah, I don't know. Like Millionaire in the U.S. went through through a phase where I just could not continue watching it. I think the clock era was probably peak Millionaire for me personally. And then when they started doing that shuffle thing, that
Yeah,
was like, why even call that Millionaire still? That's like an entirely different show.
and it went a long time without getting the proper top prize winner.
Yeah, because the questions are just very, very difficult. Like once you pass 25,000, 50,000, the questions are just in a way where it's very difficult to actually win the top prize. So I feel like that's kind of by design.
Almost as if Millionaire wasn't meant to be a 5-week syndicated show either.
Yeah. Yep, it's true. Did anyone win $1 million on the syndicated version? Like even before they turned it like even when it was still classic
Back
format
in the
with
first,
Meredith?
I think it was just the first season in the syndicated version.
Huh.
One, maybe multiple times, but just the first season when it was more the when it was the classic format from the Regis
Yeah.
era.
Yeah.
At least he's now hosting a show where the top prize is actually attainable
Which show would
with
that be?
25 words or less.
Oh, right.
And
Yeah,
I'm
I feel
sure
like an
she's
American game
having
shows.
more fun there than she did in the past in the last 5 to 10 years of Millionaire, no, with her knowing how tough the questions were
Yeah.
and just how impossible they made it on purpose to win
Yeah.
big.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like the possibility of winning big is part of a game show's appeal. Like if you know from the get go that it's very unlikely that anyone's going to win, then that makes it automatically less exciting to watch.
Right. And it just was a not even Chris Harrison's era could save it.
Yeah, agreed.
Let me put it this way. When even King Jennings couldn't do it, you know something's up.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
And we're talking about King Jennings, who, I mean, he has a lot on his plate now just being a host.
Yeah.
But after after playing almost 100 games of Jeopardy and winning all the money he has there, if he couldn't win Millionaire during the Shuffle era or whenever he appeared, you know you
Mm.
made the game too hard.
Yeah, agreed.
Of course, we're now drifting into game show talk.
I don't really mind.
But of
I
course,
like game shows.
yeah, me too.
The only flavor of reality television that I can stomach.
Me too. Because it isn't all product, because a lot of other types of reality TV are produced by producers.
Yeah.
The only other kind of reality TV I don't mind is one where the reality is pre-recorded and sent in, if you know what I mean. As in America's Funniest Videos.
Right, right. Yeah, I
Because
guess
it shows
I've never
people
really
actually in real life.
yeah, I never really considered that to be reality TV, but I guess it is. Like now that I think about it, it definitely is.
Because it captures people in real
Yeah.
life.
Yeah, it's literally real.
And speaking of that, I noticed that a lot of my childhood was based in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
America's Funniest Videos, which was licensed from a Japanese comedian duo,
Mm-hmm.
the Power Rangers, which came from Super Sentai, and
Yeah.
Nintendo.
Yeah. Yeah,
Just something I thought I'd mention.
it's yeah, like Japanese culture has had a lot of influence on culture all over the world. They are
Even in the
they are a really
90s.
crafty. They are a really crafty nation. They come up with a lot of stuff, and some of it is bizarre, and some of it is really cool. I don't know if you remember most extreme challenge, like MXC.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, like that was like obviously Japanese too.
Takeshi's
Originally, Takeshi's
Castle.
Castle, still one of
And I
my
watched the
favorite shows of all
reboot on
time.
Amazon Prime.
I haven't watched it yet. Is it any good?
Yeah.
Okay,
Actually,
well, I'm gonna have to watch it.
there's at least one American that competed in the reboot.
Oh, really?
And I know
Cool.
him via Discord.
Here's a funny fact about the reboot of the of Takeshi's Castle. Like the host, or I think like the new Takeshi, or like one of the new characters, or one of the actors for an old character, is a German-born Japanese, it's like a multicultural. The family was from Japan. He was born in Germany. Then he went back to Japan, and he was born in a town called Blankenburg.
Was that where you got the character name?
No, that's something that I found out later on, and I was like, wow, that just fits so perfectly.
I smell a joke coming in a future episode.
Maybe, who knows? Who knows?
Of course, that sound also sounds a bit close to blank and zip.
True.
And then there's the Ninja Warrior thing,
Yes.
which also has ties to Japan.
Yep.
I swear,
Overtly in the
is
name, but
everything tied
also,
to another country?
I mean, there's a lot of there is certainly a lot of overlap. I mean, Millionaire it also didn't come from the
The
U.S.
UK.
Exactly. Like a lot of good game shows actually came from the UK. Um, like the UKs are basically the I guess we can say the UK the British are the king of game shows. The Japanese are the king of reality TV.
Or physical stunt TV, at least.
Yeah.
At least we can claim that we came up with a whammy first.
Oh yeah, that's true. I guess Press Your Luck was an all American OG production.
Yes.
I mean, there are good American game shows too. I mean, I think
Price
like
is Right.
was yeah was Jeopardy
Yes.
OG American
Wheel of
too? Yeah,
Fortune.
yeah.
And I need it. I know probably should do something on my channel as far as the whole Chuck Woolery thing goes.
The what?
Chuck Woolery.
Oh, I don't think I've heard of that.
You don't know about Chuck and his hosting of the show in the 70s?
I don't think so. No.
Well, look it up later on after the interview. Look
Sure.
look up it's from 75 to 81.
Okay.
But he was the first host back when it was just a daytime show.
Okay.
He's the one that Pat replaced.
Oh, I've never heard of him.
Well, you
Now
were
that reminds me
probably
that
still
Pat
in
is that
you
reminds me
probably
that Pat
were
is
still in
quitting. I don't know
Germany
who's
when
supposed.
Chuck was hosting.
I am still in Germany. I
Oh,
just I just don't really have an opportunity or the means to watch American game shows,
oh,
especially not old
you're
ones.
probably more familiar with Glucksrod.
Yes, definitely. Although that hasn't been on air for like what feels like ages too.
That Rainbow Wheel, though.
Yeah.
I don't know what's more rainbowy. The the trial wheel we had when our process right it had its trial week of its hour long format, or the first iteration of the wheel for Glucksrod.
I don't think I know about the Price is Right wheel, so
I'll show
I
you
would have to
that later.
default.
I'll show you what I mean later on. But in any case, I'm surprised we've gone this far off tangent. But I guess all good conversations tend to.
That's true. No point in trying to keep things on track if they naturally
Sometimes the
flow in this
best
direction.
interviews let things derail
Exactly. I agree with that.
because it shows that you're building a relationship and rapport with someone, and that we have the same interests.
Yeah.
Well, on now when it comes to the modern Jackbox Party Pack era,
Mm-hmm.
which one's your favorite?
That is a very difficult question. Um,
And I will
I
allow Survey Scramble and Naughty Pack as
okay.
options.
Um, so it's hard. There are two packs that immediately came to mind because both of them I consider to be packs where there is just no quote unquote dud in it that I keep coming back to playing every single game whenever I sit down to play Jackbox. And the first one is pack 3 with Espionage, Faking It, TKO, True Murder Party, Quiplash 2, I think it was. And the other is pack 7, which had Champed Up, Quiplash 3, Blather Around, Talking Points, and Devils and Details.
I noticed that you chose both the ones with Whiplash sequels.
Yeah, but that's honestly a coincidence. Like Quiplash is not one of the games Jackbox games I play particularly often because you need the right crowd for it.
Right.
Otherwise, you end up with generally like who can make the most sophomoric joke. Um,
Yeah. And if you want
and
that's why they made the Naughty Pack.
yeah, or you can just play like Cards Against Humanity or something,
Yeah.
where the winner is generally like again it depends on your group, but in my experience, it's the winner of a round is generally the one with the most shocking or offensive card in their hand.
Right. Then again, I managed to win a game of Riff Tracks the Game in
Hmm.
in Pick a Riff mode with Measure Man with the quote, "You're not a lawyer for DC Comics, are you?" Which was perfect for the scenario because do look like a Superman ripoff. I'm sure you've had that kind of moment too when you play these sort of games.
Yeah, I mean every now and then you just come up with something that that's just perfect, and then either it gets all the votes and you can feel validated, or the other answer wins. In which case you're like, oh, I guess it wasn't that good after all.
Now, individual game, what what would you prefer to play out of all the ones in the packs?
um, Again, that is a difficult question. I really like Survey Scramble. I think it is. It's fantastic. It's a fantastic game. Really cool concept. They've recently shown off the new game modes that are coming sometime. I don't know if it's this month or next month. I don't know if they said anything about that yet. Um,
Make that this year or next year,
yeah, have it
considering
this
what
year or
month
next
this
year.
is.
I think they just said sometime. Did they say before the end of the year? I don't remember. But yeah, they're coming soon-ish. And yeah, they've shown off the new game modes on a German stream, and I was watching it, and they look really fun. I
I
love the
played
concept
the
of like this
high-low game
evolving content base
with
where
my
it just
mom.
keeps
Wait,
growing and growing the more people play it.
yeah, I played the high-low mode with my mom and a family friend, and some of the
Hmm.
answers are surprising when we find out where it lands.
Yeah.
For example, one of the answers one of us gave when we were trying to go for the low answers ended up being number
Hmm.
one.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes you
If,
can just get a really surprising result, I suppose.
and that's an achievement. Getting the top answer when trying to go for the bottom answer.
I don't think I've ever gotten the top answer while trying to go for a bottom answer, but I've certainly got one that was up there.
Now I'm gonna probably make some people mad when I ask this, but do you have any games you really don't like?
Um, I wouldn't say so. I think there is some fun to be had out of every game that they've made. I don't think they've made a truly bad game. There are games that I don't really play as often because, well, there's just other games that we as a group enjoy playing much more. And if we're going in that direction, I would say perhaps stuff like Fixie Text or, I mean, obviously Word Spud, Life's Water, all the like really old games. But I wouldn't call any of them bad. Um, it's just that with 10 party packs plus the naughty pack plus all the standalones, you have like what 55, 56 games to choose from whenever you want to sit down and do a Jackbox session. And obviously
Yeah,
there's going to be ones that get
enough
much more
that they
play
need
than others.
enough that they need to that they finally released the Mega Picker on Steam.
Yes, definitely.
I don't know if I have any more questions for now, but I will say this. I wish you the best of luck in the future of the ReRide,
Thank you. Thank you.
and I
I
intend
appreciate
to
it a
play
lot.
more of it.
And I hope
Maybe even
you enjoy your time
play
with
the
it very
game.
much.
Maybe even replay the floors I did for the B-roll here with audio on.
Hmm. Well, you are more than welcome. I very much enjoy every single content creator putting out content for the game, about the game, just playing the game with
Thanks.
or without voice. It's just yeah, I very much welcome it. I very much encourage it. I'll be sure to give it a watch.
Plus, it's free advertising, as they say.
Yep.
Spreading the word
It's not like
about the thing.
I gain anything from it because it's strictly nonprofit, but I guess the more people play it, the more people will like stream it or show themselves playing it. And again, as a creator, um, that is the best feeling. Like seeing someone enjoy something that you've made.
I know
There is
that
nothing
feeling.
that beats that feeling. Yeah, I think every creator does.
Well, is there anything else you'd like to say to the folks here at on my channel?
Um, No, just thank you for having me on. I hope everyone enjoys the rewrite, our little project, and I hope everyone enjoys what's to come in the future.
Well, I have no fancy sign off, but well, I'll just say goodbye and thanks to our guests here. ThePaSch. I can't really pronounce that, but
It's just Pash, like.
yeah. But thanks to our guests today, and hopefully we won't see each other at the bottom.
Yes, one can only hope.
Wait, will we have a bottom in this?